أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Today we're going to be talking about fasting. Yeah, one of the pillars of Islam. We didn't talk about it last week because we wanted to delay fasting so that it's closer to the month of Ramadan, so that maybe you might be able to remember a bit more than you would have done if you had done it earlier. Okay, so we're going to be talking about fasting. Okay, and when it comes to fasting, there's lots and lots of benefits and rewards when it comes to fasting. And one of the benefits of fasting is mentioned in the Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, Kutiba alaykumus siyam. Siyam has been written for you just like it was written for the people before you. So that means that fasting isn't just something that the Muslims used to do. It's something that people in the past used to do, other nations, not just the nation of the Prophet ﷺ, other nations used to do fasting as well, and it was prescribed on them just like it's prescribed and made obligatory upon us. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Allah says, so that you may have taqwa, so that you become God conscious, so that you become righteous people. So one of the benefits of fasting is that you become righteous, and it makes you a better person, and it makes you a better Muslim. So that's one of the benefits of fasting. And also another benefit of fasting, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he said that fasting is like a junnah, and a junnah is like a shield. Yeah, he said it's like a shield which protects you from the fire. Yeah, just like, for example, in battle, yeah, when a person has a shield, it protects him from the arrows that are coming from the enemy. The shield of the akhirah is fasting. So when a person fasts in this world, the more fast he does, the better his shield will be, which will protect him from the hellfire. Okay, and when it comes to Ramadan, the month of Ramadan specifically, there's lots of rewards for this month, fasting in this month. And fasting in this month is obligatory. Every single person should be fasting the month of Ramadan. And the Prophet ﷺ, he talked about the blessing of this month. And he said, Man sama Ramadan, whoever fasts the month of Ramadan, imanan wa ihtisaban, with iman, with belief, okay, غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِهِ, all his past sins are forgiven. All his past sins are forgiven. So it shows you the reward of fasting in this month. Yeah, the reward of fasting in the month of Ramadan. Okay, and Ramadan is about 2 or 3 weeks away. Yeah, it's about 3 weeks away. It's not long now. So it's very important for a person to learn about, how a person should fast and what breaks the fast and these kinds of things, so that he's ready for the month of Ramadan. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is talk about who should be fasting. Yeah, upon whom is fasting obligatory? Who has to fast in the month of Ramadan? Okay.
People who are not sick and fit enough.
Okay, so the people who aren't sick and they're fit enough to fast, they should be fasting. Good. Okay, that's one. There's three more things. There's three more things. So firstly, the person needs to be healthy and he should be able to fast. What else? 3 more things. Yeah, he has to be a Muslim. Person has to be a Muslim. You can't get a non-Muslim to start fasting. Yeah, he has to be a Muslim. What else? He has to be gone. No, it's not one of the things. We're looking at conditions. He has to reach the age of puberty. And also, he has to be sane. Okay, he can't be insane. He has to be someone who's sane, who knows what he's doing. Okay, so that person, fasting is obligatory upon him. Yeah, and when it comes to fasting in the month of Ramadan, you have these conditions. Okay, and even outside of the month of Ramadan. And when it comes to fasting outside of the month of Ramadan, the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, he used to fast okay, not just in the month of Ramadan, but also outside of the month of Ramadan. Yeah, he used to fast every single month, and he used to fast every single week. And from the days he used to fast was Mondays and Thursdays. He used to fast every Monday and every Thursday. And why did he used to fast on those 2 days specifically? Who knows? Why wouldn't he fast on Tuesdays and Fridays, or Wednesdays and Saturdays?
Was it because he was born on Monday?
Okay, that's one reason, yeah. There's another reason why those 2 days specifically, Mondays and Thursdays. On these 2 days, all the deeds of a person, okay, all the things that he did in the week, on those 2 days, they're risen up and they go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, I like to fast on these 2 days because on these 2 days a person's deeds go up to Allah, and I like my deeds to go up with a fast. That's why he would fast on these 2 days specifically. Yeah. So basically he would fast on these 2 days, and the good deeds, all his deeds would go up along with their fast, along with another good deed. That's why he would like to fast on Mondays and Thursdays. Yeah. And also it's good for a person to get used to fasting. Okay, because sometimes what happens is a person fasts in the month of Ramadan, and then when Ramadan finishes, he doesn't fast anymore until the next Ramadan, and his body isn't used to it. And then when he starts to fast in the month of Ramadan, 30 days in a row, when he hasn't fasted for about 11 months, it's going to be difficult for him because he hasn't fasted for the whole year. And so he starts to fast in the month of Ramadan, and a week goes by, or maybe over a week goes by, or 2 weeks go by, and he becomes sick, he becomes ill, he becomes tired, he's not used to, fasting these long days. So it's very important that a person prepares his body, because if you don't prepare your body, then you're going to get sick. Your body's not used to it. If you're used to eating lots of food, then all of a sudden you stop eating, it's going to be difficult for your body to be able to get used to. Yeah. So it's very important that a person fasts, okay, before the month of Ramadan so that he can prepare. And Aisha radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, she said that I never saw the Messenger of Allah ﷺ fast more in any month than in the month of Sha'ban, which is this month. The month before Ramadan is the month of Sha'ban. And she said, I never saw him fast more in any month than in the month of Sha'ban, the month just before Ramadan. Why would he fast so much in the month of Sha'ban, in this month, and not in any other month? She said, I never saw him fast more except in the month of Sha'ban. He fasted the most in the month of Sha'ban. Aqeel?
To get himself prepared.
Okay, good. To get himself ready and prepared for the month of Ramadan, so that his body would be ready for it. And if this is the Prophet ﷺ doing this, then what about us? Yeah, we need to make sure that we're ready for the month of Ramadan, and we prepare for it by fasting. Even if you're not able to fast on Mondays and Thursdays, any day which you can. If you can fast on the weekend, like Saturday, yeah, or Sunday. Even if you can't do it twice a week, try to do at least once a week, just to get your body used to it. Just so you can get used to the long hours of Ramadan. We're going to be fasting for a very long time. The days are very long. Yeah, Fajr is at 3 o'clock, Maghrib is at 9 o'clock, half 9. Yeah, it's going to be long days. So it's very important, okay, that your body gets used to it. It's going to be difficult. 30 days in a row you're going to be fasting. 30 days, it's going to be, it's not going to be easy. So you need to get ready. Yeah, you need to train your body so that you're ready to fast, okay, in the month of Ramadan. When it comes to fasting, okay, in the month of Ramadan, or let's say outside of the month of Ramadan, when a person fasts, they're not obligatory fasts, are they? You don't have to fast. The only time you have to fast is in the month of Ramadan. So outside of the month of Ramadan, say if a person wants to fast, when does he make his intention? Because you have to have intention, don't you, in order to fast?
When you're like about to, when you're going to do your suhoor.
When you're going to do your suhoor. Okay. When it comes to fasts outside of the month of Ramadan, then you can make your intention on the same day that you're going to be fasting. So say if you wake up, okay, tomorrow morning, you can make the intention to fast when you wake up. But on one condition. What's that one condition? That you haven't eaten anything. Okay, you can't have like a big breakfast and then say, I'm going to fast now for the rest of the day. You have to make sure that you haven't eaten anything. The Prophet ﷺ, one day he woke up and he asked his wife, He said, is there anything in the house to eat? And this was in the morning. And she said, no. And then he said, then I am fasting. And this wasn't in the month of Ramadan, it's outside of the month of Ramadan. So you can make the intention to fast, okay, in the morning, as long as it's before Dhuhr. As long as it's before Dhuhr and you haven't eaten anything already. You can make the intention to fast on that day. But when it comes to Ramadan, it's different. When it comes to the month of Ramadan, you make the intention, just like you said, Aqeel, yeah, before Fajr. Before Fajr. You make the intention before Fajr. Yeah? So you make the intention before Fajr to fast, and then you fast the days of Ramadan. Yeah? You fast the days of Ramadan. And you don't have to say anything. When it comes to making the intention, you don't have to say anything out loud or anything like that. You just know in your heart that you're going to be fasting for the next day. Yeah? When you go to sleep, for example, the night before, yeah, any time before Fajr. So if you go to sleep and you make the intention to fast, that's enough. Because you know you're going to be waking up for suhoor. Yeah, you know you're going to be waking up for suhoor and you're going to be eating so that you're going to be fasting for the rest of the day. So this is your intention. Also, what breaks the fast? What things break the fast? Say if I'm fasting, okay, what things break the fast? What things make the fast null and void? Okay?
Eating or drinking something.
Okay, eating or drinking something. If you eat something or you drink something, then that thing, okay, whatever you ate or whatever you drank makes that fast invalid. You're not fasting anymore. Okay, you're not fasting anymore. Also, what other things break the fast? Another thing that breaks the fast is when you vomit intentionally. When you vomit intentionally. Okay, if it's by accident, that's fine. But when you vomit intentionally, when you intentionally put your finger down your throat and you decide to vomit, then that is going to break your wudu. Okay, that breaks your fast. Sorry, it breaks your fast. Yeah, it breaks your fast when you intentionally vomit. If you do it by accident, that's fine. But if you do it intentionally, then it breaks your fast. Your fast isn't, it's not a fast anymore. You've broken your fast. Also, other things which break the fast is when a person has injections, okay, which provide nourishment. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean, for example, say if someone has an injection and there's vitamins in it, yeah, vitamin A or vitamin B or vitamin C or different types of vitamins, or it gives a person energy, yeah, or it gives a person, strength, then that is a type of nourishment. Yeah, it's nourishing his body. Or for example, it has sugar in it. Yeah, and you're injecting yourself with sugar for people who are, who are diabetic or something. Yeah, so those things which provide nourishment to the body, those types of injections, okay, aren't allowed. Yeah, those types of injections aren't allowed. Okay?
What about if travel injections? Say if you're going to go to Pakistan or somewhere and you need to have travel injections.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine because it's not nourishing the body, is it? It's not nourishing the body. Also, for example, eye drops. Yeah, eye drops. Does it provide nourishment for the body?
Yeah.
Huh? Does it provide nourishment for the body? Is it giving you energy? No. Yeah, so eye drops are okay, nothing wrong with eye drops because it doesn't provide energy for the body. Yeah, it's medicine. It's to heal, to clear up your eyes, different. Yeah, unless it's providing energy, then you can't have it. Otherwise, okay, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. So all these things, they break the fast. Now these things, do they break the fast at all times? Do they break the fast at all times or just sometimes? Say for example, I didn't know, okay, that vomiting intentionally broke the fast. Maybe I didn't know that. So in that case, is my fast still valid? Yeah, because I didn't know. I was unaware. So long as I don't do it again, yeah, I was unaware. So that's fine. Also, if someone eats or drinks and he forgets, if he does it out of forgetfulness, then his fast doesn't break. Okay, because the Prophet ﷺ, he said, okay, whoever is fasting, فَأَكَلَ أَوْ شَرِبَ, and he eats and he drinks out of forgetfulness, then he should carry on fasting because it was Allah who gave him that food and drink. Okay, because he forgot, he didn't know, okay, that he was fasting. Sometimes a person forgets. Yeah, that happens. A person can forget. And so out of forgetfulness, he eats and drinks, but then he remembers. Yeah, so in that situation, he carries on completing his fast. Yeah, his fast isn't broken. Okay, because he did it out of forgetfulness. So there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so these things, they break the fast. Yeah, these types of things, they break the fast in and outside of the month of Ramadan. So even if it's in the month of Ramadan or outside of the month of Ramadan, then that person, okay, needs to redo his fast. What about when it comes to those people who don't have to fast? Those people who don't have to fast. We talked about those people who have to fast. Who are those people who don't have to fast? From the Muslims, okay, say if you're in a certain situation, okay, in what kind of situation would you have to be in for you not to have to fast?
If you're ill.
Okay, good. If you're sick, if you're ill, and if you're ill, okay, and you're unable to fast, then you don't have to fast. Okay, if it's going to harm you to fast, if it's going to cause a problem for you, if it's going to make your sickness worse, then you don't have to fast. If it's something small, like a headache, or a little flu, or a cold, or something small like this, there's nothing wrong with that, you can fast. Okay, but if it's something which is going to cause problems for you, if you fast, it's going to make your sickness worse, it's going to make your illness worse, then you don't have to fast. Okay, the obligation has been lifted for you. Yeah, and then you make up for it outside of the month of Ramadan. Traveling, is that what you were going to say? Yeah, traveling. Yeah, traveling. If a person is traveling, okay, then he doesn't have to fast. Okay, if a person is traveling, then he doesn't have to fast. And this shows you how merciful Allah is. Yeah, if a person is traveling, then he doesn't have to fast. It's from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't say you have to fast at all times, even if you're traveling. Because travel, sometimes it can be difficult. You know, when a person travels to another country, you know, it might be difficult for him to, you know, to fast, and the tiredness and the journey can be exhausting. Okay, so Allah Azza wa Jal has lifted the obligation for those people who are traveling. You don't have to fast if you're traveling. And also for women when they're on their periods. Women when they're on their periods, they don't have to fast in the month of Ramadan, but they make up for it afterwards. Yeah, and when you make up for it, say if you're in any of these situations and you know you're sick, for example, or you're traveling, or you're on your period and you miss some days, then for each day that you miss after the month of Ramadan, you feed one poor person. So you feed one poor person for each day that you missed. Yeah, so say you miss 15 days, yeah, or 5 days, then you feed 15 people or 5 people. Okay, and that's what you do if you don't fast any days in the month of Ramadan. Okay, when it comes to the month of Ramadan, okay, and fasting for Muslims, there's some things that we do that the previous generations never did. Okay, that people of the past, okay, different nations, not the nation of the Prophet ﷺ, but different other nations never used to do. From those things, okay, is the suhoor. And the suhoor is the meal that you have before Fajr. Yeah, the suhoor is a meal that you have before Fajr.
The reason why we have the meal is because to be different from the Jews, because they fasted.
Okay, good. So one of the reasons that we have the suhoor before Fajr is the Prophet ﷺ said, be different from the Jews because they don't have the suhoor. They don't have that pre-dawn meal that we have. And so in order to be different from the Jews and the people of the book, we have this suhoor meal before the Fajr prayer. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, wake up for the suhoor because in the suhoor there is barakah, there's blessing. Okay, so it's good for a person to wake up for the suhoor and to eat before Fajr and then fast like that. It's better for him. Yeah, there's barakah in the day and in that meal. Even if you don't have too much, even if you have just a small amount of food, okay, it's good to wake up and have something. Yeah, when I was in Medina in the hot days, we used to fast, and sometimes all we used to have was, I used to have like an apple and maybe a bottle of water, and that was it for the whole day, and that would be enough. Yeah, because in suhoor there's blessing. Whatever you eat in suhoor, there's going to be barakah in it, there's going to be blessing in whatever you have, and so it'll make you survive throughout the whole day. Yeah, and generally the month of Ramadan is filled with blessing anyway. So whatever a person eats, okay, for suhoor is going to help him, okay, and it's going to be enough for him, and it's going to be, good for him for the whole of the day. So suhoor is something that every single person should do. What happens if you don't attend suhoor? What happens if you miss suhoor?
It's alright because it doesn't. You should do suhoor, but it's alright if you miss it.
Yeah, so when it comes to suhoor, it's highly recommended for a person to do, because there's barakah and there's blessing in the food that you have. If, for example, you wake up late, okay, and you're not able to make suhoor, you're not able to have that pre-dawn meal, then it's okay. It doesn't mean you can't fast. You can still fast, but there won't be as much blessing. There won't be as much barakah in the day because you didn't attend and you didn't wake up for the suhoor meal. So the suhoor meal is something which every person should do. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he would wake up for the suhoor, he said that the best thing that a person should have, and what he used to have, was dates. He used to have dates. And he used to say the best meal, or the best thing that a person can have for suhoor, are dates. Yeah. So that's one of the things that a person should have when it comes to the suhoor meal. And also, when it comes to fasting, we have the suhoor meal, and then we have the time when it comes to breaking the fast. Yeah, the iftar. And the iftar meal is the time when you break the fast, the time for maghrib. The time for maghrib is the time that a person breaks the fast. Okay. And the Prophet ﷺ, when he talked about suhoor, suhoor, the Prophet ﷺ said, he said you should delay the suhoor as much as you can. Delay the suhoor as much as you can up till just before Fajr. Yeah. So it's better for a person to delay the suhoor just before Fajr and then eat just before Fajr. That's the best time to have suhoor. Okay. And when it comes to iftar, okay, the meal when a person has to break the fast, when it comes to iftar, he said a person should hasten to open his fast, to break his fast. He should hasten for the iftar. He shouldn't delay the iftar. So say the time for opening a person's fast comes, yeah, at 9 o'clock or 9:15 or whatever the time will be, then he shouldn't delay it. Say for example, he's on his laptop or he's playing a computer game or he's outside playing football or something, and it's time for opening the iftar, then you shouldn't delay. Okay, he should leave whatever he's doing and he should open his fast straight away. Okay, he should open his fast straight away. He shouldn't delay it. Yeah, and that's from the rahmah, from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. Yeah, Allah is so merciful that He wants us to break our fast straight away. As soon as it's time, we shouldn't delay. We shouldn't waste our time. We shouldn't think, let me wait for a while and then I'm going to break my fast. Yeah, we should break our fast as soon as we can. As soon as it's time, we should break our fast. Yeah, and one of the benefits of iftar, okay, the Prophet said, he said, one of the times that a person's dua is answered, is at iftar time. So just before you're going to open your fast, yeah, that's the time when a person's supplication is answered, when a person's dua is answered. So it's a good time and good opportunity to make dua. Just before you open your fast, make dua for whatever you want. Maybe if it's something you want, for Eid, yeah, or if it's something else that you want, you should supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal, okay, just before iftar. Supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal, and that's the time when a person's dua is accepted. Yeah, that's the time that dua is accepted. So these are two of the things that a person does in the month of Ramadan. Another thing that we do in the month of Ramadan is Qiyamul Layl, is praying in the night, the Taraweeh prayer. The Taraweeh prayer, yeah, praying in the night. Okay, and this was something, okay, that the Prophet ﷺ he would do, and also the companions after him, they would pray in the night and they would call it Qiyamul Layl. And so one of those things that a person should do is Qiyamul Layl. And to get ready for Qiyamul Layl, it's important for a person to start praying optional prayers now. Because when the month of Ramadan comes and we're going to be praying for over an hour, 1.5 hours, praying non-stop, it's going to be difficult for us. It's not going to be easy. If we're not used to praying for such a long amount of time, it's going to be difficult. Yeah. So it's good to get used to praying these long hours by praying outside of the month of Ramadan and getting ready. Yeah, praying optional prayers before you go to sleep. Praying optional prayers before you go to sleep. And that's one thing that we do in the month of Ramadan. Yeah, praying in the month of Ramadan. Also, another thing that we do in the month of Ramadan is towards the end of Ramadan. What do we do towards the end of Ramadan? Something to do with poor people. Something to do with poor people. Zakatul Fitr, good. Yeah, giving zakah to the poor people. And giving zakah to the poor people, the Prophet ﷺ, okay, this type of zakah is called Zakatul Fitr. Yeah, and you give it at the end of Ramadan, in the morning of the Eid. On the day of Eid, the morning of that day. Yeah, you give food to the poor people. And it's obligatory upon every single person. So say, for example, there's one family and there's 6 people in that family. Every single person has to give Zakatul Fitr. Okay, you have to give Zakatul Fitr. And Zakatul Fitr, how much is it? How much do you have to give? Zakatul Fitr, okay, the amount you have to give, the scholars they say it's about 3 kilograms of food. So say for example 2 or 3 kilograms, 3 kilograms of rice, or 3 kilograms of other type of food that's common. Yeah, flour or something else that the people can use. And then you distribute it on the day or on the morning of Eid. Yeah, so it depends on where you're from. Yeah, it depends on where you're from, what type of food you're going to be giving. Okay, and nowadays, for example, the masjid, they might, say that it's this much, this amount of money, and then you just give that amount of money, and that's, roughly this is going to be equivalent to the amount of kilos that a person is supposed to give. Yeah, so that's another thing that a person does in the month of Ramadan, Zakatul Fitr. And Zakatul Fitr purifies a person's sins. Remember we talked about zakah in the past. We talked about how it purifies a person's sins. Also, Zakatul Fitr purifies a person's sins and any sins that he committed in the month of Ramadan. Yeah, which is one of the reasons why he gives it. And also, you're looking after the poor people, because lots of poor people. And when Ramadan comes and finishes, and then you have the day of Eid, you want people who are poor to enjoy Eid as much as you. And that's why you give money and you give food to them so that they can benefit from this, from this day. There's another thing that comes in the month of Ramadan. Something else about the month of Ramadan. Okay, good. Laylatul Qadr, the night of decree or the night of power. Laylatul Qadr. And there's lots and lots of benefits of Laylatul Qadr. Okay, one of the benefits is that this night is the best night in the whole of the year. Out of all the days and out of all the nights of the year, this night is the best night of the year. Okay, and this night is in the last 10 days of Ramadan. In the last 10 days of Ramadan, you'll find Laylatul Qadr. But the Prophet ﷺ didn't tell us exactly which day it is. Okay, and Allah Azza wa Jal didn't reveal exactly what day it is. Why didn't He tell us what day it is?
To make the people pray more.
Sorry?
To make the people pray more.
To make the people pray more, good. So that people would try hard. Yeah, so that people would make the effort. So if a person, for example, knew that Laylatul Qadr was on the 29th night, for example, then the whole of Ramadan he would just relax and he wouldn't do anything. He'd say, I'll just pray on the night of the 29th because that's Laylatul Qadr. And I'll just make dua to Allah Azza wa Jalla on that day. But instead, Allah Azza wa Jalla didn't tell us. And so we have to work harder and try and make an effort for every single day of the month of Ramadan. And is that better for Allah or is it better for us? It's better for us. Why is it better for us? Why is it better for us?
More reward.
Yeah, more reward for us. Yeah, there's more reward for us in there's more reward for us when we fast and we do good deeds in the whole of the month of Ramadan. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla, He doesn't need anything. He doesn't need anything from us. But we need Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no benefit in Allah Azza wa Jalla. He wants us to work harder, to try harder. Yeah, to fast more, to pray more, to read more Quran, to do more good deeds, so that we're ready on the Day of Judgment. We've got enough good deeds to enter paradise. So this is why we don't know when Laylatul Qadr is, but there are certain signs of Laylatul Qadr. Okay, we can tell when Laylatul Qadr is going to be by certain signs that the Prophet ﷺ told us about. From those signs is that the night of decree, this night of Laylatul Qadr, is a night which isn't hot and it isn't cold. So that night, okay, is not going to be hot and it's not going to be cold. It's going to be in between. And also, one of the other signs is that when a person finishes Laylatul Qadr and the sun rises, the sun is clear, okay, and it's white, meaning there's no beams coming off the sun and it's not really, really bright, okay. And also, there's other signs. For example, the sun is going to be like a redness to the sun when it rises. Okay, so there's these different signs that a person has for Laylatul Qadr. Yeah, there's different types of signs that there are for Laylatul Qadr. Now, who can tell me the benefit of fasting? What are the benefits of fasting? What should a person aim to achieve at the end of fasting? Okay.
If someone's like overweight, they should like fast and they might like lose some weight.
Okay, so there's health reasons. So it's good for the body. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, that's the reason. If someone's overweight or he's unhealthy, then it's a good way for a person to, detox his stomach, detox his body. So when a person stops eating, yeah, and he stops eating lots of food, his stomach, okay, gets rid of all the bad things that were in there. Gets rid of all the toxic stuff that was in the body and in the stomach, and he becomes stronger, he becomes healthier. Because the whole year you're eating and eating and eating, and they say most illnesses that a person gets are because of what he eats and what he drinks. And so when you fast, okay, it makes a difference, it makes you healthier. Even if you watch, these fitness people, yeah, on YouTube, they talk about how to keep fit and talk about diet and what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. Even they tell you, and these aren't even Muslims, even these people, they say you should fast. They talk about fasting, they say you should fast, once a week or twice a week. They say it's good for you to fast because it helps the body and it makes you stronger and it cleanses your body. And this is exactly what the Prophet ﷺ told us, isn't it? He told us to fast twice a week, and he would fast twice a week. So that's one of the benefits, yeah, of fasting in the month of Ramadan or even outside of the month of Ramadan. Any other benefits? Okay, good. Yeah, it helps you control your desires, makes you controlled, makes you self-disciplined, makes you disciplined. Yeah. So for example, if you see food, you stay away from that food, because you're not staying away from it for any other reason except to worship Allah Azza wa Jal. So it gives you discipline, because everyone's eating all the time. Yeah. But when you start fasting, you're deliberately staying away from eating and drinking, and deliberately staying away from other haram things that you might be doing, or even relations with your wife or your husband. These things, okay, make you more self-disciplined, give you self-control. Yeah, good. So that's another benefit of fasting. Also, when it comes to the month of Ramadan, okay, and when it comes to fasting generally, a person, is from the etiquettes of fasting that a person shouldn't swear and he shouldn't say bad things when he's fasting. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that whoever doesn't leave false talk and evil talk, okay, and he doesn't leave bad talk in the month when he's fasting, then Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't have any need for him to leave his eating and drinking. So say if someone's fasting but he's acting like as if he acts all the time, maybe he's got a bad mouth and he's always mouthing people off and swearing at people and saying bad things to people and backbiting, and gossiping about people, then Prophet ﷺ said that Allah doesn't have any need for him to fast and drink, to stop eating and drinking. What's the point of him stopping his food and drink and from eating and drinking if he's still acting exactly the same? If he's not learning from the fasting that he's doing, if he's not trying to improve himself as a person, as a Muslim, if he's still doing those things which are haram while he's fasting, then there's no point. Yeah, the Prophet ﷺ said there's no need for Allah Azza wa Jal to accept this person's fast, because he's not benefiting, he's not learning from it, he's not taking any lessons from him fasting. Okay, so it's very important when a person's fasting, he should realize, okay, that he's fasting and this is a type of worship. When you're fasting, you're worshipping Allah Azza wa Jalla, aren't you? This is a type of worship. So when you're fasting, this is a type of worship, and you should be, obedient to Allah Azza wa Jalla in everything. The things that you say, the things that you do, you should be careful. Okay. Say if you're on the receiving end, say for example you're at school or you're on the street, or you're with some friends or something, and somebody says something to you, somebody maybe swears at you, and maybe you get angry. What should you do in that situation if you're fasting? Very good. The Prophet ﷺ said if someone swears at you or says something bad to you while you're fasting, then you should say inni sa'im, which means I am fasting. Inni sa'im, because it reminds a person, I have to be careful. I can't say anything back to this person. I can't respond. I can't get angry with him. I can't start swearing at him because I'm fasting. Even though that person might be fasting, but you should be better than him. Yeah. And so if someone says something to you, you should say inni sa'im, because it reminds a person, okay, that I'm not allowed to say anything. I want my fast to be accepted by Allah Azza wa Jal. Yeah. And so you should refrain from saying anything bad, and you should say inni sa'im, verily I am fasting. Yeah. So these are just some of the benefits when it comes to fasting in the month of Ramadan, outside of the month of Ramadan as well. And because Ramadan is coming closer now, it's a good time to kind of look through fasting, and the ruling about fasting and how a person should fast and what things he should do. Also, when it comes to the month of Ramadan, in this month, okay, the Quran, the first ayat of the Quran were revealed in the month of Ramadan. Which was the first few ayat which were revealed ever to the Prophet ﷺ? Who knows? The first ayat that was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, good. Iqra' bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Yeah, that was the first ayah that was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. And that ayah was revealed in the month of Ramadan. And so it's the month of the Quran. It's the month of the Quran. So it's important for a person, when it comes to the month of Ramadan, you should read lots and lots of Quran. Read lots and lots of Quran. And when a person does good deeds in the month of Ramadan, whether it's prayer, whether it's fasting, whether it's, when it comes to reading Quran, or when it comes to giving charity, whatever he's doing in the month of Ramadan, the reward for that deed that he does in the month of Ramadan is multiplied. Yeah, the reward that he does, the things that he does in the month of Ramadan, when it comes to good deeds, the reward is multiplied, because the month of Ramadan isn't like any other month. And especially the night of decree, Laylatul Qadr. When a person prays in this night, or he reads Quran, or he does other good deeds, or he does some other good deeds in this month, or in this day, on that night, the night of decree, then there's so much reward that Allah Azza wa Jal told us what the reward is in the Quran. He said, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. He said the night of decree is better than 1,000 months. It's better than 1,000 months. And how many years is 1,000 months? It's about 83 years. So if a person was to do good deeds for that amount, for 83 years, if he did those good deeds in that night, just that one night, night of decree, it's equivalent to 83 years. It's a whole lifetime. So you can imagine the amount of deeds, the amount of reward that you get just for that one night. Yeah. So when that night comes in the last 10 days, when a person is seeking the reward of Allah Azza wa Jal and looking for the night of decree, he should do as many good deeds as he can. Because good deeds in that night are equivalent to about 83 years, a person's whole lifetime. Okay. So this is what I want you to talk about when it comes to the month of Ramadan. Is there any questions about this, about fasting?
Yeah, because we got school during Ramadan. Are we allowed to miss like a few days?
If you feel like it's going to be harmful to you to fast, and it's going to make you ill, and you're afraid of your health, then you can miss. Then you don't have to fast. But if you think you're able to fast and it's not going to be difficult for you, then you can fast. Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم